Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Flying Over 50 at Any Age. I am Cyrus Webb, joined by my co host, Makeda Smith, the best selling author and celebrity publicist behind the book by the same name. You guys can see it here. Welcome to you guys on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, X. Also, Instagram is up and running with us as well early, and Amazon is ready too. So cool. We can go ahead and get this party started. We're excited you all could join us for a series that we're doing this year based on Makeda's book. If you have not gotten your copy of it, we'll remind you how to do that. We are live on Amazon Live for Flying Over 50 at Any Age with Makeda Smith and myself. If you guys are new to us on Amazon, welcome. Make sure you guys do hit that follow button either here in this corner or down below. You also will see Makeda's book both in print, the Kindle edition, there as well. We're ready to talk to Makeda about today's message, a really good one for all of us about taking advantage of the time we have. Makeda, how you doing?
I'm good. My allergies are trying to kick my butt, but I'm trying to play it off.
Well, look, you look great as always. We are on
Thank
day
you.
number 13 in Makeda's book, week number 13 of our series that Makeda says was moving too slow. And now she's like, look at how fast we're moving.
We're speeding up a little bit. We're taking flight.
We are definitely, and Makeda, let's just take a moment and talk about
Okay.
this is our last show of the month of April. Can you believe that?
Oh wow. Okay. Wow.
Yeah, because when we get together next week, it'll be May 1st. Isn't that
All,
crazy?
all I know is we haven't hit the middle mark yet.
Hey, but we're 1 week closer, Makeda.
We're
We're one
one
week.
week closer.
So speaking of that, we're going to get into our message here in a bit. But before we do that, Makeda, I want to talk about last week's before we get into this week because I
Every time
think
you
again.
mention last week, I got to go back and go like, what was last week?
Okay. So no, when we were talking about resting, resting and relaxing the body, and yeah, okay, taking that time. I want to talk about that as we get into this because I think it's a great connection, and
Okay.
I don't know if you meant to do that the way it's flowing here, but I want to talk about the importance of that message because you talked about last week that some people think that flying means just going all out, grinding 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. What has helped you to kind of to realize that moving forward doesn't mean you have to be racing through life?
What has helped me?
Yeah, what's helped you?
Probably just journeying through life and learning the lessons that came my way.
Okay.
Yeah, it was just a natural progression because, like, I don't know. Yeah, it just had to be a natural progression.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
one thing we've talked about, and it leads into today's message, Makeda, is how this book is all about movement, right?
Yes.
I mean,
Wow.
and we've kind of talked about that, the example of that from week to week to week. We definitely going to get into that today. And to me, it gives the title "Flying Over 50" a totally different, meaning
Yeah.
because, you even mentioned, I think it was last week, about when people think about flying, they think about, flapping all the time,
Well, I was just
and
going to say that constantly flapping your wings. Yeah.
mhm. Yeah, but I love the way that you've been able to show us that movement doesn't have to be sporadic, but it can also be more calculating in the way
Yeah.
we move, as long as
And
we're
more,
going forward.
and more flowing.
Hmm.
Flowing
So,
is definitely movement.
with that being said, I'm gonna turn it over to you. I'm gonna share my screen with the audience so we
Okay.
can get into our message for the day, Makina.
Okay. Day 13, which is lifting weights. Weights is WAITS, but it's a play on words. It's the lifting weights. I am constantly reminding myself and others that life is not a destination, but a journey. Therefore, it is best to enjoy the marathon and sometimes put less focus on the end point. So much time, stress, and energy go into getting there or achieving a particular goal or accomplishment, when in truth, we never really know where life will take us. In my late 40s and early 30s, I thought I had figured it all out and my life was set. I had accomplished the American dream of home ownership. I had a loving man, money in the bank, life insurance policies, and a will for my daughters set up. Oh, and a wonderful canine. My younger self had no idea what was in store for my older self. I was constantly setting new goals and pushing toward them. Now, with my older self, I realize that it's better to go with the flow than to push toward the material things that we think we want. Often, as a publicist, my clients come to me with a lot of demands about what media outlets they wish would cover them. I advise them that it's best to focus on your creativity, your talents, and your gifts than overexerting about whether Oprah will interview you. When you journey your life, letting your gifts guide the way, you will naturally attract all the wonderful things that are in store for you. Don't wait until you have reached a perceived end to feel accomplished. You are accomplished in this now moment. Allow this now moment to flow you into the next and the next and the next. Lifting weights makes you lighter. What unaccomplished targets have you feeling less than? Are you so busy rushing to get there that you are not enjoying here? Take some time to savor your current reality and really appreciate where you are right now. Let that appreciation ease you into your next step of your journey. Any thoughts? Write them out.
All right, love that. So, Makeda, a lot for us to talk about here,
Okay.
and I'm going to come back to the book here in a second. I love the fact that you the whole idea of weights. When did that appreciation for that begin? For the importance of what weights were and lifting those for you.
Probably not till later in life. I would probably have to say really like my 50s,
Oh
because
wow.
in my 40s I reached this peak where I had like accomplished everything on my checklist, and I
Okay.
really thought, okay, like this is it, we're here, this is everything, and this is how we ride now till the end. And then as we get into the chapters of the book, there's a crash coming.
Mhm.
And the crash, which I don't really want to get too much into it right now, but the crash was where I came to a lot of profound realizations.
Mm, mm.
Yeah.
And what I love about our time together, Makita. Of course, I've read the book now. I think maybe 3 times. I read it when you initially did it. And then, of course, when we first started interviewing you about it. Now, of course, going
Yeah.
through it again with this. But what I have found so fascinating that I didn't know about you, because I'm not and people tell me, I tell people I'm not a real Southerner because I'm not nosy. I never asked you, I never asked you a lot of questions about your life. Like I found out about the abusive relationships because of the book. I found out
Yeah.
about the things that happened because it wasn't like I said, Makita, tell me about this, or that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I want to bring up something that you wrote in this one because I thought it was really powerful. And then before
Okay.
I forget, Jesus Black Man 23, hello to you. Prairie Dodgers,
Hey,
Cindy, good to be to see
everybody.
you. Council 28, hello to you over there on IG. I don't want to make sure I don't miss anybody. But I love the fact that you said in this message, and I want to go back to it. I love the way you worded it. And you said that when it comes to yourself, you said, my younger self had no idea what was in store for my
Yeah.
older self. I was constantly setting new goals and pushing toward them. Now, as my older self, I realize that it's better to go with the flow than to push toward the material things that we think we want. I want to talk about how you learn to balance because I think our audience will appreciate this. Because one person would say, well, it's great to have goals, right?
Mhm.
What helped you to put those goals in perspective, though?
Um, Again, this takes us into the chapters that are coming up.
Okay. Okay.
Because I reached all, like I said in this chapter, I had the house, the man, the dog, the cars, the money in the bank, the insurance
Mhm.
policies, the will. Like I reached all those goals, at
Yeah.
least what I thought were goals, what society tells you are goals, like materialistic goals. And
Mhm.
then when the crash came and I lost all those goals, I had to redefine what real goals are. I had to redefine what life is. I had to understand what the journey of life is. I had to reevaluate like lots of things. And it's like we think the goal is the end point, but the goals are not the end point because the goals are transitory. The goals come and go, come and go. Like once you hit a goal, there's always another goal, there's always another goal. So it's not really about the goals, it's about the journey. And so in my 30s and my 40s, I didn't really realize that. It took me my 50s, crashing in my 50s, to like reevaluate life,
Mm-hmm.
reevaluate the journey.
Mm-hmm. And now for you, it seems like, Makeda, when the phrase "go with the flow" has a different meaning, would you say?
Yes, go with the flow has a different meaning.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I love the fact that you're able to say again in this particular message, and then we're going to go to the picture about the whole thing about setting the goal point. You say when you journey your life, and when you journey your life, letting your gifts guide the way, you will naturally attract all the wonderful things that are in store for you. Now, I'm a firm believer in that myself.
Hmm.
You've known me long enough to know I'm not. I was just Makita and I were just talking about before the show started. I've never growing up, I never said I wanted to be rich and famous. I never said I wanted the big house and the big car and the the wife and kids and the picket fence. And
And the
that was
picture.
never. I just like the work. I like the drawing and the right. I never thought about rewards. How is having the right perspective about the work and the rewards? How has that helped you, and what do you hope our audience takes from that perspective?
Well, I want to say for you, which realization that you have, the work is like the reward
Mm-hmm.
for you. So
Yeah.
the work is your journey.
Mm-hmm.
And so like you're like so relaxed in your work and your journey, like all the rewards are coming to you, which is the message of it. Like
Mm-hmm.
when you lose focus of the work and the journey and just think about the goals. Oh, I have to get here. Like when people say, I'm not going to be happy until I have X amount of dollars in the bank. Then you
Right.
get X amount of dollars in the bank and you realize you're still not happy because that amount is not enough. And then you need more. And so
Right.
you're constantly pushing your happiness based on the goal. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, but I would say, I remember something I said last week. So much of my earlier years of my life were self induced stress that I didn't realize because
Mm.
that self induced stress was, I've got to achieve this goal. I got to achieve this goal. I've got to get XYZ. I got to get here instead of
Right.
just relaxing and understanding the journey. It's not about the goal, it's about the journey. I also have to say, in terms of my pole dance journey,
Mhm.
um, it really what helped me when learning how to pole dance as well, because you can stress out. But this is probably any kind of athletic accomplishment or any kind of hobby you take on, but you can really stress out. Like, so for instance, in pole, there's so many tricks, you'll never learn all the tricks, but you can stress yourself out about learning a pole trick, or you can relax in the journey of learning that pole trick. And then when you get to that pole trick, it's like wonderful,
Mhm.
but it's like you have paced yourself so that you have not appreciated the journey of getting there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that requires a lot of patience. And people really coming in over here on IG. So I want to hello to you, Eric. Good to be able to see you. Sherry Lynn, hello to you. And Eric, thank you so much for the follow. I appreciate that. Eugene, hello to you over there on IG as well. You guys on Amazon as well. Appreciate the hearts over there on Amazon. We have a good audience for our. This is a good one for you guys. Today's a good one. Well, they all are good, but this is another good one. And this is, I think, where a lot of people, and you can speak to this probably more than I can, Makita. What
Mhm.
you just said and what this message talks about, I think, is a great cautionary tale for all of us. Because I love the fact that you're saying there's nothing wrong with wanting to be on Oprah or be whatever, but don't let that take away the joy of the journey. Is that kind of the whole message
Yeah,
here?
don't let that take away the joy of the journey. And it's really it's really again, I just have to say it's really not the goal, it's the journey. Because once I had hit all my goals and then I
Mhm.
lost my goals, I realized it really wasn't about the goals.
Yeah.
Like the goals come and go.
Mhm.
They really do. They come and go. You never have enough. You always want more. You hit this plateau, and then you got to go to the next plateau, and then you got to go to the next plateau. So you'll be constantly chasing those plateaus, which is like constantly chasing peace and joy and happiness instead of
Mhm.
being happy where you are and realizing that all those plateaus are coming to you.
Yeah. Yeah. Talk to us about the picture for this week, Makeda.
Okay, I'm gonna try to talk through my allergies. This picture, in terms of I'm leaning against the wall, I'm in a surrendered reclining position. But for me, this picture is okay. This picture has a double message for me personally.
Okay.
One is that I'm just relaxed against the wall and reclining and surrendering to the journey. But also the studio I'm in right there, the studio is no longer here, but it was the most beautiful dance studio
Mm.
that I was teaching at. And I remember at one point I was really stressed out trying to figure out where was I going to teach. I needed to find a studio, going through the Google and contacting studios and trying to convince them to hire me, whatever. But
Mhm.
I didn't let that stress me or take me out. I
Mhm.
really was relaxed, and I really was relaxed in looking for a studio. And I think I got to a point where I said, "Well, I've contacted all the studios. I'm just going to relax and let it go." This studio wasn't even on my list. I didn't even know they existed. They actually, through synchronicity, contacted me and invited me to join their studio. So that was just another lesson about how if you just relax and focus on your gifts, everything you're looking for is going to naturally come your way.
Yeah. You just made me think of another question that I wasn't planning on asking you, Makeda, but I will ask you
Uh-huh,
based on what you just said. Do you think, looking back, even since you've written this book, right,
uh-huh.
that what you talk about in this chapter has become more difficult because of all the distractions that are in the world today, with comparing ourselves to individuals on social media and all the stuff? Do you think that's become more difficult for people to stay focused on the journey and the goal based on this stuff, or what are your thoughts?
If you okay, so it's only as difficult as you make it, and it's
Okay.
difficult if you don't have the internal bearings and the knowledge. For instance,
Mhm.
um, okay, so I can say this. When I started pole dancing, I was 50 years old, which is like
Mhm.
insane. I was taking classes. Most of the people in the classes were in their 20s and their 30s, which was another, it was insane. Like, why would I even put myself in that kind of, in that kind of predicament? But because I was centered and 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 understanding the lessons that life was bringing me, and understanding about the journey, and understanding about how you have to relax and flow into your goals,
Mhm.
I didn't look at those students around me who were accomplishing simple tricks that took me like two or three classes to catch up to them. I didn't let that stress me out. I was centered and focused on my journey and my flow. So I wasn't distracted about their journey and their flow. So
Got it.
yeah, social media can kind of take you out, and we do have so many more distractions.
Mhm.
But if you're centered and grounded in your inner self, then those distractions won't take you out. And y'all forgive me, my allergies are killing me.
No, no, you're fine. You're fine. We're wrapping up here, but I really appreciate this message. I do want to have you then speak to our audience in, Makeda, because one of the
Okay.
things you say in the end of this particular message, you ask the question, "What unaccomplished targets have you feeling less than? Are you so busy rushing to get there that you are not enjoying here?" What would you say to them about the importance of their time, being able to experience the journey they're on instead of thinking so much about the there?
Um, The main message is, and I think it's a reoccurring message throughout the book,
Mm-hmm.
is to, and it sounds simple, but it's not simple, is to relax and flow.
Yeah.
And it's so hard for us to relax and flow. Like everything around us tells us not to relax. It tells us to go, 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 go. Push, 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 push. Achieve,
Yeah.
achieve, 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 achieve. Fight, 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 fight.
Yeah.
But you really, if you when you learn to get centered and grounded in yourself, you master the art, the Zen art of relaxing and flowing. And when you can relax and flow, literally everything comes to you. Even in the course of this interview, my internal brain is like, I just want to take my face off and smish it together because of my allergies. But I'm like breathing and relaxing and flowing.
Yeah. Yeah. Love it. It's a great reminder for us, Makeda. I really appreciate it. Again, everyone, day number 13 in Makeda's book, week number 13 of our series, The Message, Lifting Weights. And weights are WAITS. It's a great reminder for us all. Again, for you guys joining us on Amazon, there you can get the book here either on the side or down below in print or in Kindle edition. Also, for you guys joining us on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube, you'll see the link there to be able to get your copy of the book. For those of you joining us on Instagram, we'll put it in our stories for you guys. And also those tuning in on X, you'll see it in my comment section. Makeda, always a pleasure. Allergies and all. It's always great spending time with you. Let our audience know, how can they stay connected with you?
You can find me at Flying Over 50 and at the Makeda Method. Check out my at the Makeda Method website. Sign up for the newsletter, and I think when you sign up, you get a free breath flow demo sent to you.
There you go. Mystery Mom 40, hello to you. Thank you all so much for the love you all have been showing this series. We really
Thank you,
appreciate it.
everybody.
It really means a lot. Hope you guys enjoy the rest of your April. We'll be back with you guys next week as we're literally welcoming in the month of May, Makeda. Looking forward to
Yes.
next week.
All right, you guys.
All right.
Blessings, everybody.
You all have a great one. Thanks so much for being with us.
Bye.